This conference will now be recorded.
We still got 7 feet of concrete.
The Town of Guides Grove Plan Commission will hold a public meeting on Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order, and you have the minutes of the February 22nd meeting in your packet. Motion by Mule to approve, second by Myler to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstentions. Motion carried. Next item is public concerns. Public's opportunity to speak to the Planning Commission about any subject that's not a specific agenda item. No one online, no one here. We'll move on. Joseph Gallagher, petitioner Francis Wisniewski, Warm Belly Farm owner at 4311 Vilas Hope Road, seeking a conditional use permit for agricultural entertainment, 10 days per year or more, and sale of agricultural products not produced on the premises, and incidental sale of non-alcoholic beverages and snacks. Who do we have here? Come on up and tell us.
Sounds good. My name's Devin Engel. I'm with Raymaker. I'm representing Francis Wisniewski at Warm Belly Farm tonight. We're here to answer any questions, any concerns that you guys have. We do want to make one note that, and we've already talked with Dane County zoning, but we would like to put it in this CUP as a condition of approval that we want the option in the future to possibly change out the 10 porta potties for a nicer permanent bathroom building in that same area. So the overall function of the site plan doesn't change at all. We just want that option. If we can get water back there and stuff, it'd be nicer for all the tenants, or I should say the people who are going to come visit. So besides that, we're here to answer any questions.
Typically with the agricultural entertainment plus or more than 10 days a year, I know it's a county, it's an ordinance vernacular, so to speak. Outside of the falls with the corn maze and the pick your pumpkins, what kind of entertainment were you anticipating having there? I mean, is it just the people on site, or what is the plan?
I mean, so people on site is one of them because it is the 10 days or less per year that we're partitioning for. The other thing is the sale of produce that's not produced on site. We have reached out to a cider company, so we're looking at making a cider that could be sold, not consumed on site, but sold on site at the farm store. And there would be an outdoor area for gathering, hanging out, purchasing produce at the farm store, gathering with your kids, maybe your neighbors and stuff, purchasing apples, purchasing strawberries. And then in the fall, we would do the corn maze, the pumpkin patch, the entertainment side of things. So in the summer, it would be the farm store, the outdoor area, and then tours of potentially the greenhouse production, and that would be the entertainment.
You said 10 days or less, you mean 10 days or more.
10 days.
Yeah, right. We're petitioning to get to more than 10 days. Right.
So hours of operation are going to be 9 to sunset?
Yes, that is
except in the fall?
right. We want the option to possibly stay open later and do like a night corn maze. We do show in our plans some lights in the back field. There's a lighting plan. that could light up the corn maze and the pumpkin patch.
Do you
So
have that?
I think it's the E200.
yeah, it'll be the E sheet.
Yeah, it's a site lighting plan. E200, bottom right of the page.
Is that permanent lighting?
Those in the field are, yeah, we're thinking those could be permanent lighting. And then we do have examples of what those lights look like in the upper corner there. Yeah, right there.
They're night sky compliant.
Correct. Yeah, and as you know, obviously, it's Wisconsin that time of year, it gets dark quite early, so being up until 9 a.m. in that kind of light condition would also require lights in those fields. So even just being open till 9 p.m., I think I said a.m., but would require some sort of lighting if we want to get people back into the pumpkin patches, into the corn mazes and stuff. So that's why we threw that together.
Which map shows your 2 additional parking areas?
I'm not sure that there's 2 additional parking areas, but any site plan that we have, I'll show the additional parking area. Let's see here.
Other existing,
Proposed site plan C200, that'll give you the best option. So what we're doing here is we're gonna rework that existing parking lot and just get it to be a little more efficient, try to get as many cars and car spaces in that parking lot as we can. As you can see, then we have a one-way drive aisle to get to the back parking and a one-way drive aisle to exit that back parking.
how wide will that driveway be?
20
That'll be
feet.
gravel?
It'll be gravel and it'll be 20 feet minimum. That's actually code for fire lanes. So,
Wanted to make sure.
yep.
That shaded in area that I can see here,
That's all gravel.
how wide is that from the building to this? Is that 20 feet?
Down here on the south side, there's actually 45-degree angled parking along that side.
Right.
So it's 20 feet plus the depth of that angled parking.
Now, what's the depth of the angle parking?
It's about 15 feet. So typical parking spaces are 9 by 18. So once you put it at a 30-degree angle, let's say 14, 15 feet. Yeah.
In the area that's all shaded, is it gravel or does it become asphalt at some time?
No, we intend to keep it gravel. Yeah. It's still considered a impervious surface, so we have to calculate it that way for water runoff, but gravel is cheaper and it does actually allow some drainage, so it's better than asphalt, right?
So are there buildings that are going to be taken down?
Correct. So if you look at C101, the buildings along the front of the greenhouse, that T-shaped building, those
Yeah.
ones that are horizontally dashed or diagonally dashed, those are all being removed.
Those greenhouses are now.
Yeah, they're little hoop houses, correct?
Seven.
Building. And they're not in great condition as is, so it'd be better to remove them. That's also, we intend to, the ones to the north of the main greenhouse,
Yeah,
that would be like a loading area, storage building. And then south, that chunk of 3, that's where we want to put that outdoor area, the gathering area with the farm store. And
okay.
then the 2 south of that, that's actually where our exit drive aisle comes through. There's a fair amount of grade in that area that needs to be flattened out a bit, so.
So it looks like, if I'm counting correctly, give or take, 350 parking spots?
I believe it's over 400, but yes, we should have labeled that somewhere around here. I think last I checked, we were approximately 415, somewhere in that area. So there's 269 stalls in the back lot, 29 employee stalls and 124 stalls in the front lot, not including those employees.
Do you have a map showing where your stormwater is flowing to?
So we did a preliminary storm drainage and grading plan, that's C300. It's gonna flow to the north, that's the proposed stormwater pond, to the north of that entry drive aisle. We also believe that it's sort of an L shape along the hoop houses to the west of the big T-shaped greenhouse. But that area we believe is existing stormwater detention as well.
Okay, so is this your stormwater retention?
Correct. And that's the way the site, from south to north, it's flowing downhill. So
Yeah,
it's natural for us to flow it downhill like that to the north. So
okay. And you will not allow parking on the north side of the building? On that gravel driveway, correct?
correct, that's just a drive aisle. There will be no parking there. It's a one-way drive aisle, 20 feet, like I said. So
Okay,
there wasn't really a lot of space to work with between the existing building and the lot line. So
so the ambulance would always be able to get through there if need be, or a fire truck.
absolutely, yeah. If anything, we might have to put up some signage to make sure it says, do not block drive and stuff like that.
Call it a fire lane or something.
Correct.
I was gonna ask you, when you're utilizing that back parking lot, are you gonna have like a parking monitor back there? Because if you don't have stalls painted, they're not gonna follow anything.
Right.
From my experience.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
and that's a fair point. I know I have seen people put out like the posts with the bucket, the cement buckets with the posts and stuff to try to designate lanes of parking and everything.
I'm not advocating parking curb stops because snow plowing would be a pain in the butt then, but
Right,
doing something temporary to probably be recommended. And
yes.
one person doing it.
We do plan to properly staff everything, and I think having someone help with parking in the back lot would be part of that. I agree.
Do you know where your porta potties will be located?
So they're called out on C200. They're basically just to the west of the last hoop house on the west side. So right where the entry drive aisle takes a turn.
The northwest corner.
Correct.
Okay,
We're showing approximately 10 porta potties.
yeah,
And again, we would just like the option to, if we can get water and sewage back there, to put in a more permanent bathroom building with approximately the same amount of fixtures.
yeah, depending on your drain field.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't go in the stormwater pond.
No.
Couldn't you guys have made this printing any smaller?
We could have, yeah.
Wow.
Any smaller or any?
I know.
I have it on this sheet and this is small for what it's supposed to be, So,
Great, yeah.
I can pass this around if you guys need.
Any other questions from the committee?
Speaking of lighting, would that be adding that lighting fix, wouldn't it, that be an improvement, correct, to the property?
Mhm.
I was just looking as far as FP business and seeing any lighting. or fixed lighting is an improvement. Is that something you would object to if you just had lighting that you could pull in for the season? Rather than put it in on poles and fixed?
I don't think so. Francis, do you have a hard opinion on that for the backfields?
I mean, I think permanent in the long run would be better, but if that was the committee's decision, we can bring in temporary lighting.
Why don't you like the permanent?
Just looking in here and then see it as it being on the whole thing.
Well, it could be part of the conditional use.
Then it's permanent.
Yeah, I think it's better in the long run anyway.
Mhm.
Having a light tower is kind of,
Well, it'd
could be a lot brighter, but it'd be a lot more objectionable in the long run.
Yeah,
I think that the downward lighting is gonna be great.
have the height so that they
Right.
can see.
I think it's all part of the conditional use. Because they don't have to have it on. They don't have
Right.
people back there. Not gonna be on all the time unless they.
No,
I
no.
know, I know.
Yeah, and that's something that we looked at, when we looked at other adventure farms in the area, when they put out those temporary lights and out in the parking lot and stuff, it tends to blind you right in your eyes and stuff. So if we can have something that's overhead, better lighting, get that into the approval now. It's also something that Dane County zoning asked for, was that lighting plan, so.
When you run your corn maze, do you keep a head count as going in or coming out?
Yes, sir.
Or do you make a run at the end of the evening to make sure everyone has gotten out?
Sure, yeah, no,
There's a platform with an employee above it to make sure everybody's alive.
Okay,
perfect,
want to have somebody lost at 12
Right.
o'clock.
exactly.
Call 911, where am I?
So you are gonna go back to the, you pick fruits and vegetables?
So we'll be doing, you pick strawberries in the greenhouse year round. We do hydroponic strawberries. And that'll be next year, but in the greenhouse. There won't be any you pick vegetables this first year. Oh, the pumpkins will be you pick, sorry. But there won't be any other vegetables or fruit the first year. Not quite sure what year 2 and 3 might.
So the pumpkins and that, will that be outdoor or is that indoor also?
Little both, but mostly you pick pumpkins, and there's obviously some people that don't want to pick their own, and
Yeah.
they'll be indoors, but
So if your you pick strawberries took off and you wanted to increase your area, have you thought about that for your additional?
so we have a sister farm in Fort Atkinson, and we have a 40,000 square foot hoop house that has hydroponic strawberries.
Okay.
Currently, and if we were to increase it, we would probably have to build additional hoop houses
At the
at Cottage Grove. Yeah.
Okay.
So currently the idea is, that farm is going to focus on the science and the growing of the produce. And they do currently offer U-Pick as well. And this is going to really focus on the adventure side of things. We'll bring the produce over for sale here, but this is the entertainment farm.
Any other questions?
I have a concern about, because I frequented America's Best many, many times a year throughout the years that they were open. And when things were busy, the driveway is less than ideal, with traffic coming in and coming out. And
They were going to widen that to 24 feet or
We
two.
are, yes.
Okay.
It's not currently wide enough for two-way traffic. like
Yeah.
code.
correct. And then additionally, if you have a scheduled event, when there's quotes around scheduled, okay? I mean, if you have people there and you have a scheduled closing time, I've seen Schuster's, down the road, and I mean, the county's actually been down there directing traffic. And that's, a wide 2-lane highway, and I just don't know how traffic is going to be handled when you have mass quantities all leaving at the same time. You know, especially, let's say worst case scenario, so you get 400 cars back there.
Isn't it 35 right in there?
No,
It's 45?
yes. Because it's right at the end of the 35.
Okay.
So, okay, not only speed limit, okay, which is, which we can handle. I mean, we can take care of that as the township. Just I'm thinking the mass quantity of cars for the residents that are living there, how many times? I mean, it's going to be a big change for all the residents along Vilas Hope.
Sure.
With mass quantities of vehicles and stuff like that. And I unfortunately don't have, even thinking about this for the last few days, haven't come up with the magic pill to, perhaps mitigate that a little bit or whatever. So, it's
So we can mitigate a little bit. We're going to be using online ticketing, which will stagger people coming in. It won't stagger people coming out, but so there'll be, a limited number of people that are allowed to enter at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. So we'll be staggering, the number, we can control the number of people coming in and out, coming in. Obviously, if they stay all day or whatever, that out is the hard part, but that's the best that we can do to mitigate the traffic problems.
Mhm. If it becomes a problem, would you be open to
I came up empty with an idea.
well, you'd probably have to contract with the county for signage. Like they do on 12, they put that slower traffic ahead for Schuster's on 12 and 18.
Couldn't you contract with the county for some patrolmen to come over at closing time and direct traffic one way or another?
I guess.
They are for hire, right?
Yeah.
They do that. They do that.
I'm willing to do that. I mean, we staff it as much as we can as well.
Yeah, if it becomes a problem, we can.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess. And this could be potentially 7 days a week during the fall when this is going on.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a different story if it would be, like weekends or whatever kind of thing. And I'm thinking about the folks living on Vilas Hope there.
Yeah.
There's quite a few right in that span.
Unless we
The
funnel,
driveways go right out. I said there's quite a few driveways that go right out there in that span. right
Oh,
there,
yeah.
too.
Right on
unless we
Vilas.
funnel, when it comes time to leave, unless you funnel everybody north up to BB.
Which would be best anyway, because of the street lighting and everything.
Yeah.
As opposed to,
That's, yeah. I guess
that's
in my
right.
mind, that's what I think most people would do anyways.
Yeah.
Just go north and
That's
they
the
exit.
known route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way I got there when I visited the site and everything. And I do think, this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Vilas Hope Road is nearly as busy as the one that Schuster's is on. I know that Schuster's has had a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
One of the reasons in my mind is that signage thing. When I have visited Schuster's, I've come out on it really fast and had to slam on the brakes because, oh my gosh, there's the driveway all of a sudden,
Mhm.
I think through signage, through the wider driveway, and then through directing people north, we can get around some of these issues. We also do have some of the neighbors here tonight. So I don't know if they
what
want
was the
to.
last thing?
We do have some of the neighbors here
Yeah.
tonight.
Oh,
so-
some of the neighbors,
Yeah.
okay.
So I don't know if they would like to speak on that, but
Where will your apples come from?
So we have,
Atkinson?
for right now, we have 10,000 apple trees in Fort Atkinson.
'Cause we do have several orchards in Cottage Grove. If you need to buy some, contact them, I'm sure.
We work with local communities already. We work with, We work with the restaurants in the Port area. We work with restaurants in the Madison area. You know, our goal is to be part of the Cottage Grove community.
Mhm.
And you said, oh,
Go ahead.
no, you're widening the entrance road,
We are.
Mhm.
and that's paved or unpaved?
That'll be paved.
Good.
Yeah.
Any comments, questions from the audience?
Well, I just, I have a concern as well about the traffic, but I think I've lived there 30 some years, so America's Best, we got to know, I always joke that they should give us bumper stickers that said, follow me to America's Best, because so many people would come down and not know where it was and then turn. There's signage all over the place on BB and everything, so I think it just takes a while for people, and we had patience enough as long as they're driving the speed limit with people who would, have to turn around or whatever. But I don't know if it's, the Easter egg hunt was a huge one and we knew better than to try to go there that day. So I don't know if any of the events that are planned now are going to be as enormous as that, or, a good successful one maybe. But
It's tough to say right now with all the construction going on 12 and 18. But usually the busiest time on our road is the morning and then the 5 o'clock rush.
Mhm.
Those are the two worst times on the road.
Same place for us.
So you had 2 parcels?
There are 2 parcels, yeah. The sister parcel is in Fort Atkinson.
Oh,
And that road may be paved this year.
Our road? Good,
So
good. I've been dodging potholes all the last couple of days.
it's on our list.
Good, happy day.
Go ahead.
How many acres were you planning on having under light in the back?
Parking.
The whole area is 18 and it could be
No,
that.
they're gonna have
they're
the
gonna have
corn
the-
maze.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It would probably be
All the way to
most-
the Property line.
Most of that, but
Yeah,
it is all in the rear and there's not, it's not really intrusive on,
3 poles in the ag area?
sorry,
Is it 3 poles that are out in the corn maze area?
that's, the
correct.
design right now. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I only think
There's some
3.
perimeter poles.
They have
and then
4
some in
lights
the-
on each pole.
Oh, okay.
Plus the little ones on the perimeter. There's the ones on the perimeter too, those are like little lights, but not real high probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're properly lighting the entrance and exit drive aisle, that rear parking lot, and then, essentially this perimeter square here. So not really this.
So do you want to go through the 8 standards for conditional use permits? Has everyone read the responses? Do I need to read the response to you? First one is the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, comfort, and general welfare.
Yes.
Satisfied? The uses, values, and enjoyment of other property in the neighborhood for purposes already permitted shall be in no foreseeable manner substantially impaired or diminished by establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use. I think as long as the extra lighting that's going up is all night sky compliant,
Yeah.
should make it.
And you'll control traffic as far as, I should say, parking. There'll be no parking on Vilas.
No, that's why we went through the hassle of adding such a large parking lot in the back,
On
that
the west end of the
269
building.
stalls.
We could add.
How big is Schuster's parking, do you know?
I'm not sure.
I did know because of the fact that let me think on that for a moment while we're going through the rest of it.
I'd be curious.
How many acres? You doing 1 acre worth of parking here or just 1.5?
I believe it's about 1.5.
I want to say it was over 2.
Yeah, I believe the rear parking lot area is about 1.5. So then we also have that existing parking area.
The nice thing is he can do, if he's doing online ticketing and he sees it's getting to be a problem, he can just throttle that down a little bit. So if it's getting to be crowded, then just sell his tickets.
So everybody agrees with number 2 then?
Yep.
The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development, improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. True?
True.
Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary site improvements have been or are being made to accommodate the conditional use. We're working on the stormwater and to widen the road, so satisfied?
Yeah, he can put the septic stuff into the corn maze if he has to eventually.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion on the public streets.
Yes.
Satisfied? We hope.
Yeah.
That the conditional use shall conform to all applicable regulations of the district in which it is located. Yes? Conditional use is consistent with the adopted town and county comprehensive plans. Yes?
So that's good. Carol, what did you guys go through on with the county? Was that updating the CUP or
I think you're
before? that?
zoning.
Yeah.
Some of it was correcting the zoning too,
Right.
Yeah.
for sales. Didn't
that's what it was.
include all of the building, and we had to enlarge that area.
Okay.
If the conditional use is located in farmland preservation zoning district, the conditional use is subject to the following standards found in section, I have to go to explain how the use and its location in the farmland preservation zoning district are consistent for the purposes of the district. And it would be.
Yeah, but they're not in farmland preservation right there, right?
Yes, we do.
Is it?
Okay.
Yep.
The
Farmland
that
preservation
west,
business, yeah.
FPV.
But it's not, you're not eligible for farmland preservation credits though,
no,
because you're less than 35.
yeah,
Correct.
But they're in the
It's owned
district.
FP.
but it's,
Yeah.
so we're okay with that?
Yeah.
Explain how the use and its location in the farmland preservation zoning district are reasonable and appropriate considering alternative locations. It's not. There's not a good other location. Explain how the use is reasonably designed to minimize the conversion of land from agricultural use to or open space use.
Still open space.
Yeah. Explain how the use does not substantially impair or limit the current or future agricultural use of surrounding parcels zoned for agricultural use.
Doesn't affect it.
It doesn't.
That won't impair them.
Explain how the construction damage to land remaining in agricultural use is minimized and repaired to the extent feasible. Not going to happen.
That doesn't apply, yeah.
Still growing the crop.
So if there's no other question, comments, is there a motion?
I'll start one.
Okay,
Because there's going to be, I think, quite a few conditions above and beyond what we're seeing here. Minor stuff, at least I would. I'd move approval of the CUP with the following items. that there be no parking on Vilas Hope Road with the applicants to pay for signage on both sides, east and west. And I'll let Dan figure out how far down the no parking area would go. I mean, how far on either side of the driveway. We would need to see stormwater or make sure that the county does their stormwater approvals before they get their operation up and running. I would want to see Dan have a crack at the driveway entrance. I know there's a tube up there along Vilas Hope, and if they're going to widen it, I would want Dan to weigh in.
I think they already noted that that would have to be replaced.
Right, but I just want Dan just to weigh in from what they have here, just to bless it, you know, in advance.
But they have to get a permit from him.
Well, do they? They've already got an existing driveway. It's not like
Right.
permits, you know, I don't know that we,
So you want him to weigh in on the culvert size? Is that
yeah,
what you
culvert
think?
size and just the design of the driveway where it meets the road. I mean, which is not a big deal, but. And then also have the applicants post no parking signs on the north ingress on the, alongside the greenhouse there, where people are driving in to make sure that nobody parks there, keep it free. The lighting, I'd have to take their word that what they showed in their plans is appropriate. I think if they end up deviating from that, they should come back to us.
Well, they have to be night sky compliant.
Correct, but I'm just saying, what happens if they decide to say, well, we need 5 poles now instead of 3?
Then they'll have to come back.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if there's any substantial change in the nightlight, for lack of a better word, that they would come back to us.
An amendment then to the conditional use? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, what else did I have? If somebody has something else, chime in while I'm looking for my notes here.
County have any other limitations?
No, once we submitted the plan, I mean, we submitted in January and they had more questions and stuff. We basically just needed to fill in some of that stormwater. We needed to get out on site and survey. We didn't have time when we submitted in January. So we came back in February and we have not received any questions from county.
Is the county the one that gives the approval for the appropriate number of porta potties, given the size of the operation, or is that something that we need to weigh in on? I have no clue. I'm just asking on an,
I don't think the county.
is 10 porta potties enough? I mean, if you have a full house that particular day, I don't know.
if there's any regulation anywhere.
It's usually on inside spacing.
Right, so architecturally speaking, you know, the bathrooms inside of a building is based on occupancy load.
Right.
Okay.
Outside porta potties,
That's-
you know, there's no code as far as.
Okay, no, that's.
One thing that will cover that is social media. So
That's true, yeah.
I don't think you really need to worry about it too much.
Need to keep those 5-star ratings coming into it.
And that'll get you first.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the general consensus about a left turn only sign on the exit leaving the facility?
I think it's a good idea, and then underneath it, put Cottage Grove, you know, arrows saying Cottage Grove Road to Madison, or wherever, or Cottage Grove Road, so that people get turned around when they get out in the country. This way they know which way to go to, everybody knows where Cottage Grove
I
Road
would
is.
rather be in favor of a no left turn during event,
No right turn? I mean,
no right turn during event dismissal if it's deemed necessary. Permanent no right turn is going to be disadvantageous to residents.
Right. Put in hours in there, like from certain.
No, because
Just a
During
temporary
the
sign.
Are you gonna make sure sunsets at the same time?
No, I'm just saying, just pick a time frame.
No, I think if it's a big event, then they can put that little triangle sign out there and roadblock and,
I think you wait and see
yeah.
how it works. And if it doesn't work, then the town can step in and say that there's no right-hand turn going out or whatever.
Right. If you want to put a limitation in there, Steve, all I recommend is right turn limitation, no right turn limitations dependent on
Events.
future complaints.
What about future assessment?
Or assessment by the town if you want. Or
Yeah, how do we word something like that? I mean, I'm okay with it. I just letting you know the concerns that at least I have. I think,
I would think you
Some
don't
of the
need
other-
it during events that you'd have.
I think it's wise.
You don't want me to have people throughout, throughout the daytime when there's no reason that you won't be able to make a right turn.
Right.
I think just
Exactly.
during, when you're having an event, they'd have to post it, the signage up, that no right turns.
Why don't we just, to be determined?
we'll just, we just leave it alone for right now.
I would just leave it alone.
That's even better.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Leave it alone and see what problems come up, and then we can address those with them as to how do we correct it to make
Yeah.
everybody happy.
My whole question is, if you put a left turn only, where all the accidents are is at the corner of Marla's Hope and Cottage Grove. And that's where people are flying through. And if you have it only going one way, it's gonna bottleneck up there versus if you can divide it out at that point, it'll lessen it at Cottage Grove Road.
I'm just thinking of you guys. You know,
Is it to keep the traffic from going more in front of the neighbors that live that direction, or?
yeah,
We live that direction. Do we have to go around the block? No.
No, but what I'm saying is, if we
Yeah.
divide up the way people go, it would be an easier exit, my guess is.
So just be silent on it for right now.
It's not that many people leaving all at the same time. It'll be slow, but it's not.
Yeah, we're not, expecting 100% occupancy to stay till closing and then
Right,
everyone
no.
leave at once, so.
Is that it for the motion?
Yeah, I don't see any other notes that I
I'll
have.
second it.
Motion by Andrews, second by Mule to okay the CUP with no parking on Vilas Hope Road signage paid for by the applicant. They have to meet the stormwater requirements for Dane County, which they will. Public Works will be consulted on the culvert replacement when you widen it to 24 feet. Applicant post signs on the no parking on the north side of the building. And
Any lighting changes would have to come back before.
no allowed changes to the lighting plan without coming back to us.
Motion number 2 or condition number 2 is what again?
Pardon?
Your motion or your condition number 2?
Stormwater?
To stormwater approval by the county.
Yeah.
Are you substantially changing any outside of the buildings at all or anything else? No.
Besides the removal of
Taking
those
those
greenhouses,
7 down.
right, and
Yeah.
then, the future addition of the storage and a farm store building.
Okay.
They're staying in place. And those ones that we're removing, they're not in great condition. The ones we're keeping behind the greenhouse, they're salvageable, so we're
Yeah.
gonna salvage them.
And the new buildings that you just mentioned, they go on the north side of where the 7 are coming down.
So if you look at C200, there's a small, approximately 2,000 square foot proposed storage building. Just to the north of let's call it the T of the greenhouse. And then that would be your loading and unloadings for the storage as well.
Right.
And then to the south of that T, that's where we're showing approximately 6,000 square foot farm store.
It's that little one here and one here.
Correct.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Should we have included in that
Yeah.
motion the standards?
The standards were all satisfied, yeah. Oh,
I'm okay with that. I was just thinking that exact same thing.
And everyone's okay with that? You don't need to vote again. So it'll be on the town board agenda for the April 3rd,
Okay,
7 o'clock here.
okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, David Cummings. He's been very patient. Petitioner Cummings and Turkey Farms LLC landowner design review for commercial use for parcels at 3436 North Star Road.
No, made up a couple, 6 of them.
We can share. You just put the rest of them down. I'll get close. I don't have COVID.
They're just landscapes.
Landscape plan.
Yeah, with the trees and. Some are already there. And the additional ones I'm gonna add for the berm on the south side. And the ones we talked about on the north side here.
Black spruce, red
Osier,
osier.
they're shrubbery.
Oh,
They're the real red, they're green leaves and then the leaves fall off and they're real bright red.
Okay.
American dogwood, whatever you want to call them.
not burning bush.
No.
Or the red dogwood.
Yeah. And the oaks would be fir oaks or red oaks, either or. I have plywood.
Either one or both. Good to have a mix.
So as far as the number of them that the ornaments and everything will be way above. As far as for like the shrubbery, there'd probably be around 100 of them, and that'll go straight across the whole North Star Road side of the back side of the building. And then the black spruces, I'll probably be around 100 of them, if not more, by the time I get done. Cause that berm, I don't know, about 7 foot tall plus, it might end up being 10 foot, I'm not,
Yeah.
once you cover it, I'm not just gonna leave an opening, I'm just gonna straight line mowing purposes, that way I can mow between them and
Mm-hmm.
This building here, that's your existing building?
that's the existing building. So I talked with Mark Monday, that's hence why he redid this and
Yeah.
had the red notes on there and everything. He thought I was putting up one right tight to the road. That's just the future spot where we talked about for the
Stormwater.
management, that I size the ponds. If I do decide, I only want to do the pond thing once.
Right.
And that's what he was referring to. So then,
How big are the oak trees? Are they 2-inch diameter?
boy, if they're
And
they're probably about 4.
the lean-to on the east side of the building, is that still there or?
Yeah.
Did you have a card? I seem to remember the county saying that you had to add some trusses or something to that?
Yes, I have those. I'm waiting on the building permit. So I have the trusses, I had them engineered by Nelson Lumber.
Yeah.
I have them sitting there. I have the landing form and everything. I have everything sitting there. I'm just waiting for the building permit to go ahead, because Jim was adamant.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing until I have that.
Okay.
Thursday night or something.
Do you each want a card? Do you each want a card? Just leave a bunch of them with you. Thank you.
So this drawing that you gave me.
Yeah.
How is it? That's this view here?
Yep.
Okay. And you had to add trusses to the existing.
I have to add trusses just to the lean.
To the lean-to.
The building part is solid. There's pretty much nothing wrong with the building except where I gotta put a draft barrier in the ceiling on one side that I have pin on it because I spray foam the whole inside, but I spray foam the trusses. So it's over 300 square foot or something, I think it is, the code, and you gotta put a draft barrier in there. So I have the plywood sitting there with the 1/2 inch OSB.
Questions?
Asphalt you were gonna put in.
So, and I talked to Mark, I told him that I'm gonna level out the driveway, so if you look at it off of North Star Road, it's kind of gradually going up. It's gonna come level straight across, then to about 50, 60, 75 feet, then it'll just gradually come right down. So then I'll have a level spot for the future. I don't have to build anything up, and then the water to ditch it, so it
Drains to that
flows
pond.
the way it's supposed to flow.
Sure.
I gotta do that too.
Okay.
And that's the biggest thing is for the water.
Stormwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the asphalt, you're just gonna use. a
I'm just gonna
regrind?
take it in 50 feet or whatever, right up, and then
Okay, but is it regrind or is it?
I have regrind on it right now. I'll actually use
Blacktop.
blacktop. Yeah, I'll put
Okay,
4 inches of binder down and probably 1.5 inches of top coat.
Final.
okay.
So, which that's not an issue.
Have you done the, somebody was asking for if that was a navigable stream?
That's not no more. That got thrown right out.
Did it? Okay. Just wondered.
Yeah, that was brought up at the county end, and they were talking back and forth about it. So,
But the parcel to the north along the east line, they said it was, right?
Dwayne?
Way to the
Yeah.
north,
Yeah, Dwayne's to the north.
that's a separate one.
past North Star.
Oh, it's passed. Okay. Let's make sure it's all on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't want to be navigable.
So were you thinking 100 feet? That's something that was, Mark had brought up.
He'd like 100.
Yeah.
I don't want to be ripping it out if
We-
I don't have to. I like
We had
to
said
do
at
that.
the top of that crest.
Yep.
So if I bring the, you pull in and then it's up and then straight in and then,
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking if you were using just regrind. It was
I
regrind.
already have regrind
Right.
in it.
So it's all regrind all the way up through right now.
It'll be, yeah, that'll be in, and, but then I'm gonna put actual blacktop matching.
Okay.
I gotta dig it out. I got the permit and everything from Dan for it, but I gotta dig out. There's a tiny spot next to the culvert when they put the culvert in that black dirt. So I gotta dig all that out, but now that they're doing that, putting the fiber in runs and everything down there.
Yeah.
They kind of trashed everything a little bit, so.
Okay, I'll ask my usual question. Would you be comfortable or willing to add to your building a cupola?
A what? How many?
One or two,
You're consistent, Chris.
just for looks.
One on each end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Or 1/3, 2/3,
Huh?
or 1/3, 2/3.
Capital Underground did.
Yeah,
That's,
I'll match for you.
okay.
That'll make them mad.
Sounds good, maybe do it.
Huh?
Well,
Yeah, I get one for lots of things.
Chris Cupola.
Yeah. well. It originally was a farm building and now it's going to commercial.
Yeah.
so the lighting, and I explained that to them too. And I think we talked about this several times already, that I only use the wall packs I have there, which are 15,000 looms for loading and unloading, as if it was dark out. Other than that, the place will be dark. And I told Mark if he has an issue with the one that's on the north side, the northwest side, kind of facing towards Capitol, towards North Star Road, I can swap that one out with a RAB that's just basically shining straight down. So it's just wall. And that won't be shining out, but they're never on. You know, that's, and I didn't see nothing.
On this corner?
It's in the peak, right in the peak.
Will the
But-
parking spaces, will they be blacktop?
They'll be signed.
The county's okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only have to sign the handicap one.
Okay.
So as far as the lighting, I couldn't find nothing saying that I have to have lights on. I'd rather not.
No, I don't think.
Kind of a two-edged sword, though.
Huh?
Lighting's kind of a two-edged sword
Yeah.
from the standpoint of, yeah, it doesn't draw attention to your operation, but at the same point in time too, it doesn't make it any easier for the sheriff's department when they do their patrols and stuff to take a look at there. I mean, I'm not offering
Well,
an
I'll call
opinion.
them. I got a camera. I'll call them. I'll race you there.
Well, that would help.
Do you like motion detectors?
What?
Do you like motion detector lighting or not? I'm asking.
With all the deer and there's a couple fox there that are there every night. It'd be going on and off.
Yeah.
There is quite a few deer, surprisingly. But I mean, if that's something that you guys want, I know that everybody else has it. I'd put,
Yeah. well,
they want to be bright. I mean, but at the
If you
same-
put them up, we just want them to be night sky compliant.
my only issue is I kind of need them, it's a safety thing,
When you're loading at night.
loading and unloading. I just don't, don't want anybody to get hurt, me,
Right.
or, and I gotta see what I'm doing. And I'm
Yeah.
kinda blind anyway, so.
Just in one eye. Can't see out of the other one though. It's me.
But as long as it doesn't look like Henkel up on the interstate.
No, they won't
That's
be on.
obnoxious.
Which ones?
Henkel Transport.
Oh, yeah. And also too, the 3-stall garage guys also on BB. They have lights mounted on the side of the building that's shining on those cars that they have for sale there. And that just really brights, just straight out to the highway.
I did the foot candle test on them, and I'm 100 feet from the nearest, from my east property line, and I'm already under 1 foot candle. And then in the parking lot, standing obviously right underneath them, I'm over 17.
Right.
But then 100 feet away from the building, I'm at 2.2, so I'm still within, but they ain't gonna be on.
So were you saying, Chris, that he's okay with leaving those wall packs that for loading and unloading? That's okay? He doesn't need to change them? Okay.
Yeah.
I would, it's a safety thing.
The only one that Mark said was the one that was on the north side, if there's where the parking stalls are gonna be.
Right.
They're
And
not gonna be on anyway.
if you
No.
change that one to,
Well, yeah, I can swap it out with the RAM, which is another LED. Them are the ones that shine straight down,
right,
illuminate the building, basically, that's all it does.
You would leave that one on 24/7 or no?
no,
No, it's never gonna be on.
I like it dark.
You want it all dark then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer it dark.
Mhm. Anything else? Is there a motion?
I should keep one copy of your office, so I have one.
Yes. I have one. I'll give it to her Monday.
What's that?
The landscape plan.
Oh,
And I do have boulder walls around that one corner there. So it's just a pile, like a boulder fence, whatever you wanna call it.
Mhm.
So, and then I got a couple bigger ones, and I'll probably add a few more along that edge, because the transformer's right there, and I don't want nobody backing into it.
Nope.
I don't know what the wording is.
Is there a motion to approve the design and review for the commercial property at 3436 North Star Road with the landscape plan that was presented? Lighting that was discussed, if he changes the one. And adding two, that's cute. And the last one, we had the paving to the top of that
We already had that.
hill, so,
Still in there.
yeah. Was there anything else?
We need to have this is already done.
That's already done. I just gave you that so you to
Okay,
remind
yeah.
you what the.
What we did. Somebody,
I just make that motion today.
motion by Klinger, second by Myler. Do I need to repeat Mike's motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, this doesn't go to the town board. You're done.
So when do I get my building permit so I can do that?
You still got some stuff to finish up with the county, don't you? Or they'll give you a zoning permit or a change of use permit or whatever it is. that you need to Finish up the conditions of your conditional use permit, I think, or something.
Dan Everson's sitting on looking at the final CSM right now.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty sure
remember
that
that.
Dave reached out to you that.
But, I mean, you have to get that change of use permit on the building. I think that's what Jim's waiting for, and that comes from the county. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so Roger, I have to get the okay from you guys first before Roger gives me the change of use before I can give that back to you.
I'll let them know that your design has been reviewed and approved by the town board.
Plan commission.
That's all that one.
I'd have to go look back at Rachel's last email. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
I
did-
talked with Roger on it. He just said whenever you guys approve it.
Okay. Oh, you
I think it
also,
was like a $50.
you also have a deed restriction that you have to record about the sewer. That's part of your zoning, so they might
I can't
record.
do any of that until the CSM's done, right?
Well, this is just a deed restriction that gets filed. I suppose it gets filed on the parcel, so until the new parcel is known, yeah,
So whenever Dan's done,
yeah.
then he'll give it back and then three sets can go around, make the final one, go around, get everybody's signature.
The town board will have to approve the final CSM, so that. will
That's
have
for
to
the
come-
signatures, everybody signs it, correct?
Well, that has to go for the town board before I can sign it. So as
So I have
soon
to
as,
come back for that one.
so as soon as Dan will send us that
Okay.
at some point here, and we'll get that on the town board agenda. So,
I'm just trying to stay in the loop.
Yep.
Did we vote on that?
Yes,
We did?
we did.
you voted. Did you? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So the only other thing that's going on is the town board. Last Monday night, we talked again about running sewer out there. And my impression is that it may be something that they will go ahead with and run sewer out there. So if we do that, I think we need to put in some thought as to the types of buildings that we want to allow in that business park. So if you can start thinking about what type of building you would want to see built, and I'm guessing brick and mortar rather than whole building.
Because we have the ability just to go ahead and sky's the limit, actually.
Yeah,
And whatever we decide,
However, they can't be too big unless you have sprinkling.
well, we were talking mostly about construction techniques.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather see stucco or brick,
Right.
versus the
a
steel
clearly
building.
building,
Yeah,
maybe. You know,
I understand, but
it
there's
puts more value.
limitations on the sizes you can still have within reason for that. Before they require sprinkling, and then that's a whole nother cost if you don't have water.
Right.
But you're talking about value more into the building rather than just overall size.
Yeah,
correct.
because, you know, if we do put sewer out there, then the parcels can be smaller because they don't have to waste room for
Right.
drain field in that. And so you put more money into buildings, and what do you want those buildings to be constructed like?
Well, do you want the parcels smaller or do you want better buildings on a parcel, if that makes sense, rather than an area that you'd need to have reserved for a drain field that could now be parking in a building in a certain size.
Yeah. I think we want to emphasize the building.
And then whatever we decide then, we would pass that along to all the landowners out there. So when they are soliciting people to buy their lots, they can say, hey, this is what you're going to be expected to go ahead and what kind of building ahead of time instead
I
of.
think you have to include with that then what kind of business. What kind of businesses are you picturing? You know, because so far, all the businesses that are interested out there are wanting outdoor storage. And so what kind of businesses are you picturing? I mean, all the inquiries I'm getting are outdoor storage.
And I don't know that I would want to see a full outdoor storage out there.
Right, so that's what I think, I know what you don't want to see, but I think you guys need to think about, okay, so if you say no outdoor storage and you say these kind of buildings, what kind of businesses is that going to draw? And is that going to be enough of a draw? Is it gonna be the place for whatever kind of business would utilize the kind of buildings that you're picturing and no outdoor storage?
I would think we're gonna get more of
Big
what-
Amazon building.
more of the outdoor storage. Brick and mortar stuff is.
I think you're gonna get into a lot of price range though, and you might be pushing people away
Yeah, that's not
when you start getting.
I don't think so,
Brick and
because the
mortar.
fact
You
we're
might
still
get
gonna
some
be cheaper,
warehousing.
we're still cheaper than this, than the stuff in the village. And you don't
But
necessarily,
We're cheaper than stuff in the village, but what about some of the other surrounding areas?
like where? There isn't anything.
Well, there may soon be if we force them to, spend too much money to get in.
But the thing is, we're offering,
And we
Potentially-
got berms going up. I mean, and we can put fencing up and and they're gonna be they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's not like they're right on
not forever,
on highway in and looking at brick and mortar. You've got buildings that more or less out of sight.
not
And
forever.
we
though.
got berms and that we've been going around. I mean, I think you put too much on them that you're gonna push people away. And I know you say,
We're
and
gonna
maybe
put-
not forever, we're gonna have places like you say, we don't have any place else. Well, that's now, but we may push them that someone will open it up.
But we're also going to attract those businesses who say want sewer. I
No,
mean,
I'm not against having the sewer net out.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that,
I'm just saying
But
that
if you
we,
just put in whole buildings, that's not gonna pay our cost on
roads
putting
and-
in sewer.
Okay.
You need,
but if we get the sewer in there, are you gonna get the people that come out here? I mean, with brick and mortar and all that stuff, because they start looking at an added expense. We might be getting people out here now because, looking at it because it is cheaper to do it.
the value of the land may go down or go up depending on,
Yeah.
You're getting the
And
kind of
so-
people, I have a husband in the construction business, so I know from everything that he's told me that there is no place that will allow outdoor storage anymore. And so people are looking at that and saying, here's a place way out in the middle of nowhere is how they're seeing it. And they're seeing it as a place for outdoor storage. And that's what the market is. That's why
as long as we push it to the
you're
north
getting
and
that.
east,
Well, right, that's what I'm
nobody's
saying.
gonna see it.
No one's gonna see it. That's what I said. You can put a half outdoor storage with these berms and fences you have.
but still, why can't,
It's still be
okay,
able to-
why can't people go ahead and spend the extra money if they want to be here and have their outdoor storage? Let them build a decent building.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what kind of.
I'm not
business it
against
is.
having, brick in the front and stuff like this, but I mean, I can't see we can force them to have.
You could also be site dependent or location dependent on the quality of the building. The ones closer to the highway, a little bit better than the
Yeah.
ones further back.
Yeah,
10 and 12
I agree with you there.
better.
And then we're gonna have a
Well-
maintenance, somebody that's gonna watch over this. I mean, like if they're managed by in Madison, we went and visited some around.
Yeah.
And to me, when you go out and look at some of those, it's like, you can see this is very poorly managed because you got crap everywhere sitting around. And then you got other ones that get very well managed. So I think when it comes down to it at the end is management. You can have your brick and mortar, like you said, I
And you
agree
have
with
to
that,
tell
close to the
them that
roads.
they're doing it wrong.
Right,
And
As soon as you
accountability.
can notice it
right.
to get it correct.
I agree with the roads, I mean, with the buildings that's gonna be exposed and in sight of cars driving by and the highways. You want something that looks nice, but some of these other ones, like I say, for what they want it for, I think you might be just pushing them away. They didn't want to have anybody there, you might have the few.
Something to think about
Yeah,
as
well, I said,
as things move ahead, what you may want to see.
Did Dwayne sell a land or sell a lot down there? I saw it come across.
He's,
I don't,
he's in the process of applying for his zoning up at the county. And he does have, I had a call about one of the big lots, those 3 that he already had. They want heavy commercial because they want outdoor storage. So that's what, to me, that I'm trying to figure this out. Like, is this how it always goes when you plot out a new commercial area and you take a stab at how it should be zoned and what uses there should be, and then the buyers all come in and want something totally different and they rezone every lot? Is that how it always goes? I don't know how to get around that, but that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And so Dwayne, I talked to him today and he's proposing heavy commercial for his new lots in that new area to allow for outdoor storage. So just so you know, and he's got a meeting with Majid to kind of go through what the county is going to need. And then, you know, when he gets here, you talk about control or whatever. I mean, you'll have a developer's agreement with him because that's a subdivision. And then you can decide if there needs to be something equivalent to like a homeowners association for that, for his area that's going to watch itself.
Yeah.
But that'll be coming. He needs to meet the requirements of the county before we'll accept his application here.
Was that people from
No,
Arkansas?
the people from Arkansas are looking at one of his corner lots on that new road. I don't know if it was this one to the north of that road or the one to the south of that road, but one of those corner lots they're looking at.
Okay. I thought heavy commercial was done or wasn't obtainable anymore. You didn't have it?
No, it's still out there and it's approved. I mean, it's an acceptable use in our commercial district per their plan. So that's what you may be seeing an application for. You'll have to decide if you want it or not,
Yeah,
or how you're gonna limit it, I
look it
guess.
in
Yeah.
so that it looks decent.
You know, Mark keeps saying, reminding the town board that you don't have to accept everything that comes your way,
Yep, I'm in agreement with that.
so.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Klinger, second by Anders, non-debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're on at 6 o'clock. Just you and I.
Reconsider?
I was just gonna leave my card.